Hello, is this thing? Yep, we are live. Let me just share the link on my Discord. Sculpting the sexy banana live. Perfect. Let's begin. Okay, this is a really interesting reference. I just saw this banana online and I could not resist sculpting this. So I did a trial, not a trial, but I just sculpted it because I felt like it. Let me show you the result of that sculpture. That result is the thumbnail, by the way. But yeah, let me show you. So this is the banana, sexy banana. And by the way, this is a representation of the Nano Banana Flash. Nano Banana Flash mascot. So yeah, this is what we will be sculpting today, and I am so excited. Big on the process, and yep, it's gonna be exciting. Very exciting. By the way, if you need sculpting courses, if you're struggling with sculpting, do not know where to start, just check out my Davinci School, where you can see the results that the members are already getting. I have the easiest courses on sculpting because I just do not dive into the overwhelm that anatomy has. I won't dive into the name of the muscles and the bones. I will just teach you the things that move you forward. And yeah, it's my birthday, so I have a birthday discount going on as well. So just let's go check it out. Yep, exciting stuff. Let's see. Let's begin. Hey, yeah, hello, Shizuma. How are you? And Enrico Innocenzo Gambino. How are you, my friend? That's a difficult name to pronounce. Okay, so first of all, first and foremost is the blockout. I need something that looks like a banana. And that is the first shape that I will be making here. So let's move this up, say here somewhere. I think the banana can be a bit taller. And yeah, guys, the most important thing ever when sculpting is always going to be the blockout. If you have a good blockout, then the details just take care of itself. If the blockout sucks, everything else will suck no matter how much you try to make it work. It will not work. So yeah, just making sure I have a good shape for the banana. Yep, looks good. Looks like a banana to me. Doing good, and you? Yes, I'm doing great as well. Thank you. I'm feeling old. I just turned 28. Just kidding. I'm still young and handsome and sexy. Okay, after this, I want to place the block out for the eyes. So I think the eyes should be about here somewhere. And his expression, guys, just look at his expression, bro. So menacing. I love this reference. I don't know why this reference has a lot of appeal to it. At least for me, I just love this reference. It's hilarious. And some people take offense in this sculpt. I don't know why. It's just fun and games. Why not? Have you never seen a banana before? Yep, this looks good. Let's place the eyes. So the eyes will be here. Smooth. GZ up. Yup, you're still young. Yes. I look a bit old because of my receding hairline and loss of hair. I don't know why. This has been something that has always been genetic to me. And yeah, it's a gift from my grandfather. So if you have a genetic hair fall in your genes, yeah, there's no cure to it. You can slow down the process, but you cannot stop it. And yeah, personally, I think it doesn't matter that much, bro. Like I know other people who just stress so much about losing hair, about going bald. Like, be comfortable in your own skin, man. It's completely fine. Let's go. Hi, Polly. Let's make the block out for his smile and his grin. Just dig a bit like this. Go all the way up. Well, baldness looks really masculine, lol. I don't think it's baldness that looks masculine. I'll be honest. I think the most attractive thing a man can ever wear, it is confidence. And that is why you shouldn't follow like what's the newest clothing trend or what's the hairstyle trend, whatever, bro. Confidence is the most attractive thing. If you are comfortable in your own skin, if you are comfortable no matter what hairstyle you have, and you can wing it off, you can swing that hairstyle, you can rock it, you're gonna look, yeah, you're going to be attractive. What's not attractive is yeah, not being confident. And yeah, when I started losing my hair, bro, my parents would be like, hey, you should grow some hair, or maybe you should cover this area, you should try getting a patch or a wig or something. And I was like, no. If I do that, then I will feel uncomfortable. I'm comfortable this way. I'm super comfortable this way. I don't mind having a bald head. But if I do something to cover it up, if I grow hair just to cover up some patches, then I'm not going to be confident and it's not going to work for me. Yeah, with all of these gurus teaching you to, hey, this is what you should wear, this is how men should dress, this is how men should style their hair, groom themselves. No, bro, do whatever you feel most comfortable in. Because when you do what you feel like, you are comfortable, you feel confident. I can follow the latest, I don't know, dressing sense or whatever, dressing fashion, and I don't feel comfortable in wearing those things. Then I won't be confident. That is what I believe. You know, the most important thing in this sculpt is probably the expression. If I can capture the expression right, everything else is going to look okay. People can be offended by anything these days. I agree, man. I completely agree. And you know what the worst thing that I find about people being offended is them being a hypocrite. So if I make, let's say, I make a racist joke, for example, okay, I make a racist joke, and it's hilarious. It's super hilarious. The people who are offended will, hey, bro, Ishaq, you're a racist. Why did you make that racist joke? And these same people will go home the night and watch Family Guy and laugh their butts off. Like, I don't get the hypocrisy, man. Why? Like, my joke wasn't funny because I said it, but then you go home and you watch Family Guy and that is hilarious. How does that make sense? So I don't get the hypocrisy of these things. Like, if a joke is funny, just have a laugh, bro. It's all right. Why do you have to make such a big deal out of it? That is the part that I don't like. Because most people are fragile, I imagine, and that is not a compliment. Yeah, I agree. Most people nowadays, they are snowflakes. But most people are not snowflakes, and they just want to pretend that they are good people and not laugh at racist jokes that they would go home and laugh on anyways. They'll watch that offensive meme and have a laugh, but when someone else says the same thing, they'll be like, oh my god, how is that possible? Why did you do that? You're so mean, bro. No, bro, it's a joke. Learn to take a joke. You shouldn't be personal when you're making jokes, but yeah, bro, I think offensive jokes are the most hilarious. And I think the most hilarious things, whatever is the most hilarious thing you remember, it's probably in some way offensive. And you know, your best friends, right? When you hang around with your best friends, you're having the time of your life, you're laughing, giggling, and your stomach hurts. At that moment, bro, you're making jokes that are offensive. You are insulting each other in extremely offensive ways. And I think a person does not qualify to be a best friend unless you can be offensive with them. So I know one of my friend, he has a cross eye, right? One of his eye is crossed. When he looks straight to you, one of his eye is looking the other way. And then we roast the shit out of that dude. And that is why he's our best friend. He still hangs out with us, and we have a great time. We have a guy who's super extremely fat. And then we make fun of him as well. Like, I think your best friends, you are allowed to be offensive with each other. And those are the best jokes that you have. Let me know if you disagree. And also let me know if you agree. This is what I think, bro. I think that the best jokes are always the most offensive ones. Let's mask this area for his legs. And yeah, these legs suck, brother. Of course, they suck right now. Let's just inflate them a bit. Remesh so that we have a bit more geometry. Move it out. I'm a fan of dark humor personally. I love dark humor as well. I'll be honest. I love dark humor. And it's mostly because it's offensive. So offensive jokes are the funniest jokes. See, we have Alex. Alex openly admits this is a man. Alex is not a hypocrite. Alex is not a Jerry. People are Jerrys when they think that something is bad publicly, but then they laugh on the same things privately. That is not fair, bro. That is not cool, bro. Be like Alex. Well, honestly, I agree because if you get offended by jokes in your friend group, which means no harm, then what are you doing really? I agree, man. You only have that pass with your friends. And whenever you sit down and you recall the good times, you also recall a joke like, hey, remember when he said this to him? It was so hilarious, bro. And that, whatever that thing is, it's always going to be offensive. Of course, you shouldn't go about publicly and offending people you don't know. But I mean, in friends, in your circle, everyone makes offensive jokes and everyone laughs at offensive jokes. So let me tell you a few offensive jokes. So my cross-eye friend, right, the one that I told you about, like we make jokes. We tell him that, this guy, he's so good at Call of Duty because he has one eye on the screen and the other eye on the minimap. Now we keep making fun of him. We tell them, yeah, the best job for this dude is to work security and watch CCTV footages because he can track multiple monitors at the same time. He could be the best security guy. Yeah, you can't do that randomly walking. And if you see a crossed eye, hey, I see a crossed eye guy, let me hit them with that joke that Ishaq told me. No, bro. Don't do that. But if you have a cross-eyed friend, by all means. By the way, right now I'm sculpting the clothes of you, so I'm sculpting with you. Let's go, my friend. I think the legs can be a bit longer. Yep. Let us bring them down a bit. By the way, this character also somewhat reminds me of Pickle Rick from Rick and Morty. Yeah, definitely. If this wasn't a banana, this could have been a pickle. And the Pickle Rick episode was one of my favorite episodes from Rick and Morty. I loved Pickle Rick. Can't wait to see the final result. Yup, it's going to be exciting. I just roughly want to make the teeth here so that I can get some idea whether his expression is spot on or not. Yeah, I think we can lean him forward a bit more. See this curvature? It's bigger than what I have right now. So let's use the snake hook. Snake hook. Snake hook is great for twisting your model. Yep, interesting. Let's move the eyes up. Yeah, this looks nice. This looks much better. I'm thinking about posing. Should I try it at my level? Of course, you can try to do that if you want, but just use it as a practice. Always use your initial practice whenever you try something new as a benchmark to see where you are. Like, for example, when you did the head sculpting course, the first thing we did was we made a level 0 head. And the level 0 head was just a benchmark to see, okay, where you are versus where you will be in the future. So if you want to try posing your character, of course you can try. But here's a simple rule of thumb. Whenever you practice something, always practice with intention. Okay, we don't want to be Jerry's. We are not Jerry's here. We don't practice blindly, whatever comes to our mind. But we practice like Davinci. We practice intentionally. There is a specific area that we want to improve or test, and that is what we practice. And then we take our lessons and we implement it in the next sculpt. Personally, I do posing because it forces me to correct my anatomy according to the deformities caused by posing. Yeah, that is a different topic actually. So the way that the muscles deform, for example, my bicep here, if I just swing my arm, you see how it rotates, how it either extends or contracts, whatever. These are some things that will change, and you do need a bit of understanding of the muscle dynamics if you want to sculpt posed characters, like good posed characters. Of course, you can always just pose them roughly, like how in video games. In video games, the muscles don't actually deform, although now the rigging is so advanced that they do. But most of the time, they do not. If you just want to roughly pose them characters like that, yes, you can. But if you want to have a specific pose, the best thing is that you find some references, a person that is already in that pose. So you can see, okay, which muscle is shrinking, which muscle is stretched, which muscle is prominent, whatever. Okay, I'll finish the character in a pose and the guess I'll see. Yep. Oh, by the way, guys, comment me. So what's your favorite offensive joke? I would love to hear some offensive jokes here. I told you the jokes that I crack on my friends. And I can tell you a few more if you want, but I want to hear from you. Like, what's your favorite offensive joke? I want to have a laugh, bro. Yeah, this is looking good. Let's see what else. What else? I can shrink this part down a bit. Yeah, looks good. So let's work on his arms. I'll just use a cylinder. Move it here. Rotate it like this, like this. And let's apply a mirror modifier on this. One of my favorite jokes were also the Yo Mama jokes. So Yo Mama jokes, they were always really funny. Especially Yo Mama So Fat. They were hilarious, man. Yo Mama So Fat, her shadow weighs 50 kilograms. You can try posing, but you need to have solid references. Yep. So references definitely. Because you will inevitably end up with distortions and behavior of the arm will change completely when posing. Yeah, bro, just this movement of the wrist, it completely changes the muscles arrangement of the forearm. That's super, super complex. And you can try this yourself. So if you hold your arm here and you try to rotate your wrist, nothing moves. Okay, your hand is in the same position. But if you grab on your wrist, now you try to rotate it, the other wrist rotates along with it. That is because this bone turns over the other bone. And yeah, it's really interesting movements. I shared it in the course as well with the reference. It's really interesting. You will probably see your elbow take on an unexpected distortion, so you will have areas such as the joints. Yep. Let's combine these, remesh these, smooth them a bit. Yeah, now I have to apply transform. I'm not super happy with his pose. I don't know why it does not seem as menacing. Let's see. I think I should bring this forward a bit more. Yep, definitely better. Let's grab the snake hook brush. Yep, let's move the eye here. Yeah, and I think this looks much better. His eyes can definitely be closer. Look at how close they are here in the reference. So I'll just take this area in a bit more, make the eyes bigger, move them closer. All right, interesting. Let's work on his... Just a sec. Now let's work on his feet as well. I think the feet can be a bit bigger. Let's just inflate them. Yeah, although the reference has some boots here, but I'll just make him barefoot for the sake of time. Sculpting boots will take a lot of time, and we can just get away with making the barefoot, a barefoot banana. All right. Yep. Let's start to work on his peel here. So the way I will do it is I will just mask an area. Let's go to the lasso mask. And I'll mask this upper area right here. This will split. And what else? See? Got this area. Yeah, it does split into two. I forgot how I did it previously. Let's see. So this is the previous one. How did I do it here? Okay, it is split here. Let's try that. Mask extract. Yes. Thickness 0.2. Let's try 2. Let's try the offset at 1. Ooh, this is too much. 0.05. Nope, 0.1. How much would that be? Okay, this is not bad. Let's try. So move all of this down here. This part will come here onto his hand. Let's try that again. Mask extract. Yes. I think I'll just drag a bit of it from the back here. Snake hook. It does look super messy right now, but that is something that we do not want to worry about. But of course, we will be cleaning this. What I want right now is to just get a shape, an overall shape of it. This looks okay. Let's use the grab brush. Let's straighten this out a bit. The model is so funny, to be honest. I want almost doing something similar. All right, how about we make it the next weekly challenge? Inside the community, let's make this the new weekly challenge. This banana here. Would that be something you would be interested in? Yeah, I want to push back teeth back in. This way we'll have better control over the smile as well. All right, I think we should make this the next weekly challenge. Why are you not using Dino Topo? Because Dino Topo sucks, bro. I don't like Dino Topo. And the reason I don't like Dino Topo is because it makes sculpting very, very, very unpredictable and it makes it very difficult. So why is that? Here's a simple analogy. Here's a simple way to understand. So guys, if you don't know if you should remesh or use Dino Topo, let me tell you. Imagine these two spheres. And this is important, okay? So here, I remesh this on a very high value. This sphere right here. Extreme. Okay, let me save this just in case it doesn't crash. Did it remesh? Yeah, now it's remeshed. Here's the difference between sculpting on a high poly and a low poly. So if I take this low poly sphere, you can see the wireframe of both of them. Okay, super low poly, super high poly. And when I smooth on this low poly sphere, you see how it shrinks and becomes poop. Okay, the same thing when I try to do with the high poly sphere, it's not going to smooth. It's not going to lose its volume. It's going to remain its volume. And you see how lumpy this is, how bad this is. You can still see a bit of the grid on it. And yeah, if I try smoothing, then I can smooth it a bit. But if this was even higher poly, let's make it even higher poly. Yep, if this was even higher poly, now even if I tried my best, it's not gonna be super smooth. This is the difference between sculpting high poly and low poly. Now using this idea in your mind, when we use Dino Topo, okay, Dino Topo, what does it does? It's some parts of your mesh is going to have low poly, some of them it's going to be extremely high poly, some of it's going to be really dense, some of it is going to be low poly, and it just creates a mess. Okay, and when we have that mess, basically your sculpting becomes unpredictable. You're sculpting on one area, it's high poly, it's behaving differently. You're sculpting on a different area, it's low poly, it's behaving differently. You try to smooth an area, it's high poly, it will behave differently. That is why I do not like Dino Topo. And the good thing about remesh is that no matter how much you stretch the geometry, so even if I stretch the geometry like this, see, I stretch the geometry, and in between I do not have any polygons that I can sculpt with. Of course, I can no longer make a line here in between them because there's no geometry. The good thing about remesh is that remesh basically just equally distributes geometry all over your model. And now you can sculpt like this. This is something that people don't realize. They're like, hey, I should maybe subdivide this. Subdivision also does not work. So let me show you. If I use a subdivision modifier here and I make it simple, I go to subdivision levels. See, it's only dense in the area where it has more edge loops, and it's not dense in the area that had space in between them. This is why subdivision also does not work. So the best thing that I find to sculpt with is remesh. It's the best. It's super predictable, it's very easy to work with, and it always gives good results. So yeah, that was the mini crash course on remesh versus dye and topo. Also, I don't like the way dye and topo behaves. So when you zoom in closer, it's more polygons. You zoom out, it's less polygons. You can have a constant value as well, I know, but still it sucks, man. Continuously changing values, and it's not a good method in my opinion. And you see, now that this is a separate mesh, I can easily adjust the smile, I can easily adjust the grin, and adjust the expression. Let me apply this so I can remesh this as well. By the way, remesh does not work if you have something that is a single plane. If you have something that is a single plane, like this plane here, and you try to remesh, it's going to have holes in it. So if you want to use remesh, always make sure that your mesh has some thickness, and then you can remesh it easily. Otherwise, it won't work. Your model will have holes. That is why I applied the solidify modifier here, so that it has thickness now, and now I can remesh. Thank you for the explanation. Of course, my friend. My pleasure. This is what my mission is. I just want to remove all the bullshit advices that is available online about sculpting. I want to make sculpting easier for everyone. Because I was super into sculpting always, but I was never able to learn because it was so overwhelming. And then I just thought to myself, like, I'm just going to learn this no matter what. Screw everyone. Then when I did learn it, I just realized, well, there's so much things that were never important, but I was taught anyways. Now it's my life's mission to make it easier for younger me. So the younger me who was struggling back then, I want to help that younger me. And that younger me is now you. You who is watching this video, who watches my tutorials, because he's in the same place that I was. I just want to help that dude. I want to make him able to learn sculpting in the easiest way possible. And yeah, we can learn sculpting without being doctors, without memorizing name of the bones and the muscles. Yes, it comes as a surprise, I know. But that's true. You don't have to learn the name of the bones and the muscles, bro. You've been fed lies. It's not important. It's not important. Also, what I can do is I can, let's see, yep, I can mask this area for the teeth so that I can make only the teeth hyperly. Let's remove this, let's remove this. By the way, you will be surprised like how quick you can learn to sculpt when you focus on the things that matter and disregard all of the things that don't. When you stop learning the planes of the head, because planes of the head is an exercise for 2D artists so that they can know how to shade their drawings. It's an exercise for 2D artists, but I see people practicing in 3D, like they're making the Asaro head. What's the point, bro? You don't need that information. I swear to you, you practice a genetic head, you get good grip over it, you can easily make the planes of the face. No sweat. Super easy. Planes of the face, it's super easy. So mask, slice, and fill holes. Stylization becomes so much easier when you disregard all of the bullshit advice. You work on the fundamentals first, and then you focus on stylizing. It's going to be so much. Oh no, bro! What did I do? Shit. I have to duplicate this first. Now go to sculpt mode, Control I, and now mask, slice, and fill holes. Yeah. Okay, what did I do? L, X, delete faces. Yep. I think I also need to mask slice and fill this. Yes, mask slice, fill this as well. Okay, perfect. Now the mouth is a separate item. And now no matter how much I remesh this, it's only going to affect the teeth and not the rest of the body, which is nice. Let's look at the arms. Let's make it high poly. Let's make his fist. So it's going to be really easy on this one. Man, why do I always lose my pen? I always lose these buttons. So these buttons on the pen, it's always hard for me to find them as I'm sculpting. I don't know how people are able to do that. They make this into a shortcut and they are actively using this. I cannot do that, bro. How did it finish in another? What? Though, does your pen has free will? I think your pen is possessed or something. If it magically appeared in the other room, you should be worried. Yeah, the eyes can definitely be bigger. I went to another room with my pen in the hand and I left it there, and my uncertified idiot GP just forgot it. Oh, that happens. I can relate. You know, the worst thing that I do is sometimes I try to find my glasses while my glasses are still here. So I'm looking for my spectacles and I'm already wearing them. That is, yeah, it's super embarrassing. And it's really funny at the same time. When I realize, like, what the hell, Ishaq? What are you doing, bro? And then I feel like a Jerry. Okay, this is looking good now. Yup. Coming together. Very promising. Perfect. Let's detail a bit now. I think we're definitely good for the detailing stage now. Let's move this down. Just matching the expression a bit. The curves on the lips that I can see. And yeah, guys, here's a really simple tip. So when you're sculpting, look, sculpt. Look, sculpt. Look, sculpt. I think this is the best tip that I can give you. So many people, they just have reference on the side and they think that, okay, I just have the reference, I loaded it up, that's it. That's all I had to do for the reference. No, the job of a reference is so that you look at it and then you observe your reference and then you make a conscious stroke on your model. That is the point of a reference. so that you look and then you sculpt. You look and then you sculpt. And this is one of the mistakes that I used to make, man. I used to sculpt first and then look at my reference second. So after I progress with my sculpt, I would use my imagination and make things the way that I think they are, which is always a bad thing, bro. Like, you don't know anything. Like, if looking at something enough was a good, what is it, would improve your sculpting, then we would be the best at sculpting heads, because we see faces every day, but still people suck at making faces. What does that tell us? You don't have to look at a reference. You have to look, observe, and sculpt. So seeing something every day does not mean you'll be able to make it easily. No. So you should never make something that the way you think it is. Always look and then sculpt what you actually see, not what you think you see, what you actually see. All right, let's go here. Okay, let's make this high poly. And don't hesitate to take a screenshot of your model and place it next to the reference from time to time from the same angle. This allows you to refresh your eyes a little bit and analyze. Yep, 100%. So when you're sculpting something for a long time, you will develop something called tunnel view. And that just distorts the way that you look at your reference. You might not see some things that are obviously there because you've been looking at your screen for a long time. In that case, just go take a walk, go take a dump, go to the toilet. And when you come back, you're going to have fresh eyes. And then you can look at your sculpt better. You're going to realize things that you missed in the first place and things that you can improve. So what I do personally is, after I sculpt, every session that I sculpt, I always go back to the reference. I mean, I go back to that sculpt maybe in a few hours, maybe the next day, but I always revisit that sculpt. And when you do that, you just realize so many mistakes. And if you don't do this, you are missing out on such a big opportunity to learn and grow. Such a big opportunity. Let's give him some colors. It is such a good opportunity to learn and realize your mistakes so that when you sculpt the next time, you don't repeat them. And so many people, they just miss out on this. They think, oh, if I sculpt more and more and more, I'll become a better sculptor. No, it does not happen that way. What's better than sculpting 100 heads is that you make one head and then you take your time to analyze the mistakes that you made. That is so much better. So much better. Repeating the same things over and over again, it does not make you a better sculptor. It makes you insane. You are insane if you do that. Not by my definition. It's by the definition of Albert Einstein. So Albert Einstein said that insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different outcome. It's crazy how colors instantly add life to the model, and I will always, yeah, I agree as well. Even when I'm sculpting faces and when I'm making a person or a body or something, anything, whenever I add the color, it's the most satisfying thing. Coloring for me is the most satisfying thing. It always brings so much life, just like I said. It makes your sculpt feel alive. Coloring is my favorite part of any sculpt, but you have to be careful with the coloring part. So people think, so this is what a Jerry does. A Jerry makes a shitty sculpt, and then he thinks, oh, I should add some colors and it will improve my sculpt. No, bro. If the base sucks, no matter how you color it, no matter if you're Picasso, I don't care. If you paint it like Picasso, it's still gonna be a shitty sculpt. So you need a good base before you start coloring. Yeah, don't be a Jerry, bro. A really good example that I have for this is, think of icing on a cake. Okay, so your sculpt is basically the cake, and any details that you add, whether it be the color, whether it be the skin pose, whether it be the details, it's basically just icing. Now imagine that you hire the best person for the icing job, okay, and he does the best icing in the whole wide world, but the cake is made of poop. Like, it's not going to be nice. It's not going to be nice, bro. If you have a shitty base, no matter how much you decorate it, it's still a piece of poop. If you gold plate poop, it is still poop. If you have something that sucks, if you have a bad base on your sculpt, no matter how much you decorate it, no matter you make the best pose in the whole world, it's still gonna suck. So always focus on the base first. If you have a good base, then yeah, by all means, go ahead, color it, light it, render it if you want. But if not, don't do it, bro. I personally don't light my sculpts at all. I only light the ones that I want to present for a portfolio. Otherwise, I just go here, enable shadows, and boom, that is it. That is all you have to do. Because when you're sculpting something and you want to improve at sculpting, the only thing that's going to help you improve at sculpting is sculpting. If you're lighting, you're not sculpting. If you're rendering, you're not sculpting. If you're posting a shitty sculpt on social media, you're not sculpting. If you're adding lights, if you're setting cameras, if you're rendering, you're not sculpting. If you're adding skin pose, you're not sculpting. The best thing that you can do is to do the sculpt. And just do the sculpt. The more you sculpt, the better you will get. And initially, just forget about lighting. Forget about presenting. You don't have something to present. It looks shitty. So just focus on making that better. And when that is better, then you can watch tutorials on how to light, how to present, how to make a portfolio. But before that, forget it, bro. What's the point? I totally agree with you. Yes. I think this is the most common mistake that beginners make. Beginner person, he just wants to start building a portfolio. Bro, how can you build a portfolio with that shitty sculpt? It's not possible. You can't do it. You have to get better first, and then you worry about a portfolio. Think of a fat guy, right? A fat guy just joins the gym and he says, you know, next week I want to participate in Mr. Olympia. You're going to smack the shit out of it. You're gonna like, bro, lose some weight first. You're not even ready for the competition yet. Have you actually seen the competition? Have you seen how shredded they are? You need to get ready for the competition first. That's the same thing, bro. When you're making a portfolio, you're competing with other artists online. And before you make a portfolio, you should be extremely honest with yourself. Is your work anywhere near their level? If it is, then yes, then you can think about how I can make a portfolio. What are the things that I need to present? What are the things that I need to showcase in my portfolio? Yes, then you can do it. But before that stage, there's no point. You're not ready for the competition yet. So what's the point, bro? You're just wasting your time. That hour you spent making that portfolio could be in an hour spent sculpting and improving at your skill. Yeah, we have to be extremely honest with ourselves. And we have to be accountable for the time that we spend. The most valuable currency that you have right now, it is your time. Everyone has the same amount of time every single day. Everyone has 24 hours in a day. The only difference is how you use those 24 hours. If you spend those times bullshitting yourself, kidding yourself, working on things that do not contribute towards your growth, bro, you're wasting your time. But if you spend that hour wisely, okay, and if you practice things deliberately, you will grow at such a speed, you will be shocked, you will be amazed. And this is how I'm able to get my students results so fast, so damn fast, because I value their time. I value your time. And I only want you to focus on the things that actually move the needle. So instead of memorizing sternocleidomastoid or the pectoralis major, pectoralis minor, rectus abdominis, you don't need that information, bro. How about I make your life easy and mine as well by only teaching you the things that actually matter? Yeah, you can spend your hour goofing around, trying to learn the planes of the head, which, by the way, does not help with the anatomy. You can memorize the name of the bones and the muscles to sound cool in front of your friends. Yeah, bro, you're cool. You're super cool, bro. But you're still a loser because you can't sculpt the character that you want. I have encountered people, I met people who know the name of the bones and the muscles. They know the anatomy, front and back, every muscle by name, every insertion point, every place it connects, and it comes from wherever. The only thing they don't know is how to sculpt. And I find that ridiculously funny. Like, you know everything, bro, but the only thing you can't do is you can't sculpt. Like, how sad is that? What's the point? Like, what was the point in memorizing all of those names, bro? How did that serve you? The effort made by some people to render a sculpture that is supposed to be there for practice purposes is not very interesting to me, especially if you are not in the creating season. I mean, I don't understand why they're putting on all this effort instead of focusing on the good things. Exactly. Exactly. What's the point focusing on that render when you know there are things that you can improve in? You know that you still have a shitty base. But who are you kidding, bro? You're kidding yourself. All right, let's make the teeth very, very nice now. I'll just make the center division line. And then I will sculpt here. By the way, Alex here is like, Alex, seriously, bro. If I've seen people sculpt teeth, I like the way that you do it the best. Always so good. I like the way you sculpt teeth, man. For me, I just do it really, really roughly like this. I know a lot of people, they make separate meshes for the teeth. And yeah, that is an option. That is definitely an option when you want it to be very presentable. But for the sake of practice and for the sake of this sculpt, I don't want to do that. I'll just use the crease brush now. Crease in here, crease here. I'll just use the inflate brush to tighten all of these gaps. The inflate brush is, by the way, a really cool way of tightening gaps in your sculpt. So whenever you see some gaps that you want to tighten, you can always use the inflate brush. It's a very underrated trick. People do not know about this. But yeah, you can do that with an inflate brush. Just sculpting the gums over these. By the way, one more thing. I know that sculpting can be really, really overwhelming initially. Because initially you do not know where to start. You're like, hey, I bought this course, I bought that course, I watched this tutorial. Someone tells me to block out. Someone tells me that the name of the bones is important. Someone tells me that it's not. I don't know where to start. Where should I start learning? I know that I should be learning this step by step, but what are the steps? And if you are overwhelmed this way, you can check out the link in the chat that is pinned, where you can book a free one-to-one call with me. And I will personally help you with these things and will also help you come up with a custom action plan so that you do not feel overwhelmed. So if you're overwhelmed that way, then by all means, feel free to book a call with me. And yes, it is first come, first served. Okay, if the slots are full, then of course I will not be able to take your call. So don't be a jerry, bro. Just book that call. Why not? I'm not going to eat you. I'm not going to bite you or something. So just book the call. Yeah, even a closed fist, it can help the yes, 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 definitely. Definitely. Anywhere that you have gaps, you want to tighten some things. For example, the crack of the butt. If you want to tighten the ass, you can just use the inflate brush and it will take care of the crack. It will fill the crack up. And yeah, the butt is funny, bro. It always cracks me up. Ooh, that was a bad joke, wasn't it? Yeah, it was a bad joke. Hello, Pratyush. Prabhakran. Pratyush. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. And yeah, we're almost towards the end. This went sooner than I expected. How long have we been sculpting? 1 hour? Damn, a whole hour has passed by. I did not even realize that has been an hour. I thought maybe we are like 30 minutes in or something. Interesting. What the fuck? Already 1 hour? Yup, exactly. My reaction. I did not even realize it's been an hour. Alright, let's make his eyes, because you see, once I make his eyes, he's going to look so much more alive. Eyes are always the doorway to the soul of the character. Eyes are always the doorway, and you cannot mess up the eyes. So as soon as I make his eyes, you will see that his expression will come to life. His menacing expression, it will come to life as soon as we color the eyes. So let's just make this. Let's use the paint hard brush. And yes, never ever ever use solid blacks. So here's a tip. Never use solid blacks, never use solid white, because these colors, they do not exist. If you want to use black, always go a few tones up. And if you want to use white, always go a few tones down. This is just a tip, because these colors, they do not exist in real life. And for example, if you ever have to change anything in these colors later on, it's not going to work, because these colors do not exist. If you're playing with contrast and brightness, you're using color filters. If you have solid blacks and solid white, it's just not going to work. Okay, so always, always, always use a few tones, either high or up. If it's black, just use a few tones lighter. If it's white, just use a few tones darker, but never solid. Yup. So you see already, it's coming to life. Let's use the soft brush. Let's give him a darker color outside. So a dark blue. Yep. I want to make him a bit more aqua. So let's go here. And then I want to use a very bright blue on the inside, a bit unsaturated, desaturated. I think I can make it brighter. And then I will use a dark black again. I think I can just color pick this. Yep. Just use that on the inside. You see, as soon as we have his eyes, he just looks so much more alive. If it doesn't exist, why does it exist on the color picker? Because in 3D, bro, you can do anything. You can do anything that you want. This is a digital world. If you make a light source that has, I don't know, 2.5 million watt output, you can do that. Just because it exists there doesn't mean that you should use it. Yeah, here's one more reason that is exists. So remember how I told you not to use solid whites? I'm going to use them now. The reason I'm using them now is to make something artificial. And what is that artificial thing, Ishaq? Is this highlight on his eye right here. So I'm using a solid white to just make this highlight right here. This highlight wouldn't have been possible otherwise. Since it's 3D, it's artificial. Yep, we can have that highlight here. Yep, looking good. What else? Yeah, we have to make his eyebrows. So definitely make his eyebrows. Let's just mask an area here. Let's just roughly color the way his eyebrows should be. Yep. Mask, mask extract, extract. Oops, this doesn't look nice. What I will do is I will give him a bit of an offset. I will give him some thickness. This doesn't look nice. 0.07. Yep, let's apply this. Let's remesh this once with a higher value, a bit higher value, a bit more. And then I will smooth this. I will use the inflate brush to shape it better. Ahaha, this face, I love it so much. Yes. Bro, when I saw this sculpt, I just could not resist sculpting him. It was so funny. So funny. I missed AFK quick. Take your time. Still have a lot of detailing to do on him. But yeah, since we have a good base, the detailing will not take time and they will look good regardless. Bad thing is that you have a shitty base, but you still proceed with detailing it. Why would you do that, bro? Why would you be so dishonest with yourself? You know that it sucks. Why are you putting in more time and effort to it? Focus on the basics. All right, the banana looks nice. Let's pick the paint blend tool. Let's go higher poly on the body. Let me save this just in case it crashes or something. Yep, I'll disable symmetry now. And what I want to do is just add some color variations to him. I'll make some spots, the banana spots. Is there a way I can, okay, X color pick this here? Perfect. Now I just have to hold control and I can toggle in between these two colors that I picked. So here's the brown, here's the yellow. That is just going to make it so much easier for me to texture this now. Also, I can use the brown to just subtly add a bit more hues to it, a bit more variation to it, which is always a nice thing to add. Nothing in 3D is ever going to be perfect. It's never going to be, yep. In 3D, imperfection is perfection. What else? What else? What else? Let's make this upper part a bit green, because it's green here. And yeah, feel free to add a few more green tints here and there, because why not? The more color variation we have, the more interesting the scene is going to be. Just a sec. Yeah, what else? Let's texture a bit here on the inner banana. I want to give a bit of a randomness over here as well. I'll just make this darker and a bit brown. Yeah, let's disable symmetry, why not? So we can paint a bit here along the center. Here. I think we can make it even darker. I'm just splattering colors a bit randomly. Because like I said, in 3D, imperfection is perfection. And the point of making something random is that it should be random. So just splattering some colors here and there. Just the browns. Yeah, let's splatter a bit here as well. On the inside. I can make him a bit dirty like this, but no, let's not do that. What else can we do? Is this high poly enough? Can I just make some random lines like this? Yep, let's try. You can use the glitter brush to just randomly add some lines. And some lumps here and there, just to give it a bit more irregular surface. But yeah, you see, it does make it look more like a banana. Oh yeah, let's work on the feet a bit. Why not? So the feet is really simple. You just separate the thumb from the toes, and then it's really easy. The thumb points up, whereas the toes, they point down. That is all you need to know about the feet. Yeah, the fingers of the feet. Yep, and now that I have this, I'll just Separate the fingers. I won't make too many of them. Or you have just a few indication of the fingers. And that should suffice. Oh boy, I did not have symmetry enabled. And if I symmetrize it, it won't be nice. Let's do this again, shall we? Symmetry now. Separate the thumb. Thumb points up, fingers point down. And yep, now we can just add the separation for the fingers. Yo, hey, yep, I had a question. What's up? Fire away. Can these sculpt models be used as rigged game characters? Yes, they can. But you have to pose them more neutrally if you want to rig them. But yes, you can definitely do that. You'll have to do a bit more operations on them, like you'd have to optimize them a bit. You'd have to rig them. Because this sculpt, it's extremely high poly right now. And it will not be ideal to sculpt and use in a game. But yeah, you'll be surprised. Like so many characters, you can just simply use the quad remesher and get away with it. I have worked in commercial projects where we had characters. We had to animate them. I just use the quad remesher. And it's fine. As long as you don't want a lot of facial expressions, a lot of deformations. If you just want to use something really, really basic, you can always get away with the quad remesher. Hello, Shaki, what's up? What do you think of this banana? We're almost towards reaching the end already. Yeah, I think we're almost done, guys. If there's any more questions, just fire away. And I would love to answer them for you. Yep, looks good. He looks more psychotic this time. I agree. He does look more psychotic. And that is nice. So let me show you the previous result that I got. Then we can make a comparison. So, screenshot. Here's the previous one. And I think this one definitely looks better in terms of the legs being long and the overall proportion. I like the proportions on this one. But this one is closer to the reference. This one is not close to the reference. I intentionally gave him a bit of a long legs because it looked nice. But this one is closer to the reference, definitely. Also, this one looks more confident for some reason. I think we can make it a bit higher poly. Just to add a bit more details on the banana. Oh, hope I don't crash. Good thing I didn't crash. Wireframe. Yep, looks good. We can add details now. Just a sec. Let me check. Someone's calling me. जी मुसा क्या ठीक ठाक अच्छा मैं मुझे आप साइज वगैरह दे दो जो लिखवाना है लिख दो मैं स्ट्रीम कर रहा हूँ मैं फिर बाद में समझता हूँ ठीक है हाँ मेरा ख्याल है गलती मैं देखता हूँ सर All right, where were we? Yes, we were detailing the banana. So let's detail the banana a bit. Since we have a bit more time to spare, so why not? I'll just randomly add some details on this. Yep. And we can sort them out. And since it's high poly, these details are going to stick. Yep, that is definitely the end. I think I'm just gonna stop here. So if there's any more questions, fire away in the chat. And I can answer them before we conclude the stream. Let's try to give him a bit of long legs. Let me just move these down. Nope, just the legs, bro. Just the legs. Symmetry. See? And he automatically just becomes more confident. I think I like the long versions more. Although the reference does not have the long legs. But I like the long legs more. So I'll give him long legs. Because my life, my rules. It's not a good practice, by the way. So if you're a beginner, always follow your reference. Don't do this on your own. I just realized that Jerry might be watching this video. If you're a Jerry, but don't do this. Only experiment on your own when you know you can get the reference well. And you can make these decisions intentionally. I'm not being a Jerry where I make something bad and I'm like, oh, it's stylized. So this is what a Jerry does, bro. He makes something shitty. And then when someone calls him out for it, he's like, oh no, bro, this is stylized. Shut up. Bro, like how ridiculous can you be? Why won't you accept instead of making stupid excuses? Hmm. No, but this banana is hilarious, seriously. Alright, since there's no more questions and nothing else, let me just conclude this. Let's just take a thumbnail, screenshot for the thumbnail. Isn't he hilarious? This should be nice. All right. Yeah, I don't like how his face is not emphasized. I want his face emphasized. So let's see. Let's move the shadows around a bit. And let's move him here. This looks better, I think. This looks better for the thumbnail. And I'll see when I'm uploading it. But right now, I think this is okay. Alright guys, I'll see you next time. Thank you for tuning in. By the way, if you want courses, just check out the link in the description. If you want to learn how to sculpting without the anatomy overwhelm, without learning this like a doctor, and you want to learn it like an artist, just check the link in the description. And if you need help with anything at all, you don't know where to start, you're overwhelmed, you don't know if you should proceed to the body yet or not, if you still practice the heads, just book a free call. There's a link down in the description. Yep, here's a fist bump. Goodbye, take care, have a great Sunday.